For the past 10 years, Polish President Andrzej Duda has been the guarantor of Poland's good relations with the United States. A series of meetings with key politicians in Donald Trump's administration shows that Karol Nawrocki intends to continue the outgoing president's work. Today, Poland needs confidence that the future president of the Polish state will take care of Polish-American relations, because the Polish government headed by Prime Minister Tusk has brought these relations to a difficult situation, which resonates also during my visit to the White House. Photos don't lie. A photograph in which Donald Tusk points his fingers at Donald Trump's back, the Polish Prime Minister put in his book. During the election campaign for the Polish Sejm, the head of the civic platform called the current U.S. president a Russian agent. Trump and his dependence on Russian services today is no longer disputable. This is not my assumption. This is the result of the investigation of the U.S. services. It is not ruled out by the U.S. services that Trump was recruited by Russian services 30 years ago. Such showdowns could not escape the attention of the Republican administration. Prime Minister Tusk was not here, and I dare say that a great deal of water will flow in the Vistula River before Prime Minister Tusk is welcomed at the White House. All the more so, because during last year's visit to Washington, D.C., U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson, who just spoke with Karol Nawrocki, did not want to meet Donald Tusk. In view of this, all hope in the head of Polish diplomacy. Maybe at least with Minister Sikorski someone will want to talk. Unfortunately, this is also unlikely. Trump, Putin's man in the White House. Not much has changed in Sikorski's attitude toward Donald Trump. During his recent exposé, he hardly stammered about relations with the United States, but the Polish Prime Minister in his address did not hide his pride in his diplomatic staff. In international relations, we have world-class competence. Donald Tusk's deputy running for president, a former deputy foreign minister in the civic platform PSL government, also matched that world's highest level. It would be the worst scenario for us, for our reason of state, if God forbid Donald Trump came back to power. And yet, God provided, and Donald Trump returned to power. Rafał Trzaskowski found a brilliant way out of this awkward situation. Prince Polo. Does it need to be introduced? No need. Rafał Trzaskowski's answer to the crisis in relations with the U.S. is supposed to be waffle diplomacy. You can say to President Trump, Mr. President, you are talking about Greenland, and how are relations with Iceland? They eat Prince Polo there, the best possible symbol of cooperation between Poland and the United States. Perhaps it's better that Rafał Trzaskowski's meeting with Donald Trump will probably not happen. The Civic Platform deputy chairman's insight has painfully verified reality. I kind of wonder about this. If Trump is sitting at home, imagine in Mar-a-Lago or Washington, D.C., and someone says, look, there's a guy in Poland who does so many push-ups. That's the kind of ally we want to have. Can you imagine? It turns out that Karol Nawrocki has accomplished something that was extremely difficult for Trzaskowski to imagine, and the inept policy of the civic platform elite toward the U.S. could be laughed at if it weren't for Poland's security and economic interests. In a situation where all the great European leaders are almost on their knees, walking around the U.S. president, this company dares to insult the man who held this office and was likely to hold it. You know, this is just plain dilettantism. Informed decisions should be made on whom to bet on in international relations.